So we will get started over here. Thanks a lot for the panel coming once again for the discussion all around Jyotish Mela, and we will also be getting deep into the insight of the astrology today. And before we get into the discussion, we would like to definitely talk about our Jyotish conference, which is one of the event which we keep looking forward for whole year to get together, to meet people, and have a discussion of the astrology going pretty much everywhere, and especially in the environment of Ashtravidya Gurukulam. So Gordon, I just wanted to ask very quickly. So you will be visiting Ashtravidya Gurukulam for the first time, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Oh, that's quite exciting for us to be able to see you for
and
the
me.
first.
Yeah.
Lovely. So
nice, Mr.
Yeah, so I will very quickly share my screen, take you guys through especially for the people who do not know Ashtravidya or do not know about our conference. So I will remove this out of our way. So I am on jyotish.com going to the upcoming conference which is coming up. Give it a minute for it to load. So here we are. So we are into our 30th conference. So you can see, so 13 years back, the Pujya Dayanand Saraswati ji, given, I will say, approval, a permission and the blessing to Rakesh Sharma to get started with this conference. And from there on, every year, with lot of hard work from the Rakesh, this is continued. This Jyotish Mela is going on at the same place called Ashtravidya Gurukulam. So Ashtravidya Gurukulam is centrally located at a place. It's a mountain area. It's called Poconos mountain area. And the city name is Sailorsburg. And that is where Ashtravidya is located. And from the last couple of years, we are also running it in the online way. So giving the opportunity for the people all over the place can also see and be able to interact with all the experts. So it's going in person as well as online mode, except some of the pandemic time, which was completely online only. So, and it's also one of the longer conference I will talk about because it's a whole 11-day conference. It has 60 big master classes will be going on and with like 90 hours of astrology. So it does require for people to be able to understand and digest the whole conference. So we give recordings for whole year so that you can go over and understand it in your own pace. We understand the deepness of knowledge which gets transferred during that time, during the whole session. Also, this time we have a theme for the conference. It's called the marriage and relationship. So Venus, marriage, relationship. There are also some of the special topic will be coming during that time too. So going into also one of our very deeply loved by people is Yogi Karveji is no longer with us, so we are dedicating our conference to Karveji, and there will be a celebration happening during this time as well in our conference. And Karveji is one of our people who have spoken in the conference in the past and is very well accepted and pretty famous for birth time rectification. Not only birth time rectification, I will say also looking into the person's face and talking about what is your date of birth and how your chart look like. So amazing mystical powers which he has known for in the whole industry of the astrology. And there are times also there will be stories shared while Rakesh keeps sharing one of the story where he looks into a person's and he also talked about whom you are going to marry. What is the birth time, birth date time for the spouse. So pretty amazing stories of the real stories of the people. And there are people also going to come during this time. This is the picture of the daughter who is going to attend the session. Moving on, we are very close to get started with our conference. So today is 29th. So one of the last last one webinar before the Jyotish Mela starts on the 1st June. Thursday is this week. Thursday is the whole session will be starting. We always start with the mantras, which what the vibration of the whole Ashtravidya is all about. So we start with the mantras on 8:35 on the 1st January. And that will go on, as I said, till the Sunday of 11th June is. So we also have, just wanted to very quickly talk about all of our, the speakers who are going to come over here. We always welcome all the speakers, a lot from India. So this time we have Dr. Charak Vinay Aditya, VP Goyal joining from India, as well as Chariji, which you see is joining from there. And from the west, you will see Komila Sutton is coming, Brendan, Ronnie, Simon, Sam Jeppe. Sam Jeppe is also going to speak for the first time this time, while this other names which I said are quite familiar names over here, they have been visiting over here. Excitingly, again, Gordon is going to speak with us for the first time and also will be there in the Ashtravidya starting 6th June. He will be there with us. Gary Gomez has spoken in the past as well as he will be here. PVR Narasimha Rao has spoken a couple of times. So I think last year he was here for we welcome him once again. So he will be available in the last weekend of the conference. So 10th and 11th is what he is going to be here for. The Charizi is again speaking for the first time, but is bringing a wealth of knowledge with him for I think it started sometime in 80s and is still be able to speak and talk so much of with the energy of the astrology. The Michael Sugarman, Ellen Anand, Mark Boney, Charlotte Benson has also been speaking with us from quite some time, while she is the president of ACBA. And we also welcome Nadia and the Christoph. They will also have a special sessions during the conference. These are some of the topics. I'm not getting into the videos. The topics when you're looking into, given we have 60 lectures, you will find in and out about the relationship, marriage topic, timing of the marriage, how to look into this event. So we are talking about looking into the life event and we are talking about marriage, while you can apply that in also finding out the other life event uh, as well. So expertise of everyone coming during this time. So if I talk about Michael Sugarman, he has been talking about Venus and creativity is one of his area where he brought like Bhavat Bhavam as well as Venus and creativity into that. Then, moving on, talking about Vinergy. Vinergy has been, like last year when he spoke about some of the charts, the students, it's really got very well accepted among the students. And so he is coming up with then last time also when we spoke on Sunday, last Sunday, Vinergy talked about how the harmony in the relationship is an important component in the people's life, and it's a very important topic as well. To be able to go through, and the consultation when the people come. These are some of the basic questions that comes from people: how to bring harmony, first how to identify, and then how to bring, and then go about it. So, I mean, I can go on and keep talking about all of this, but I will give you an opportunity. Go to jyotish.com, be able to and look into the upcoming conference, look into the topics which we are going to look into. So it's like a whole series of topics are there. You can look into, obviously the Ashtravidya is right here. You can look into the schedule, how a conference is planned. I will say if you are looking to meet all of the people, like we highly recommend going on the online or in person is completely your choice. While in person, you will be serving with the astrologer, with your peers, eating and drinking, talking about it. While when you are online, you will be able to see all the conference from here. So how it's depending upon where you are located, what is your choice, you can choose that. But if you ask me when I should be visiting, I will say the most of the speakers will be available between 6th to 11th. Okay, while before 6, you will get to see Sam Jeffrey will be here only for the weekend of 3 and 4th. Okay, Michael Sugarman will be here throughout the year. Dr. Charak is going to be here during the first half. So 1 to 6 or 1 to 7 is the time when you will be seeing Dr. Charak over here. So whoever you want to make a choice, you can definitely make a choice, and you can look into the schedule. That will give you a good idea who is going to come at what point of time. So with that, I would like to get into the panel discussion. You can always, there is one of the option which people really look forward to is once the schedules are ready, we keep it over here for you to download in your time zone to be able to give a reference, especially when you are online. So it helps you to be able to. So if you see in the Pacific time, you will see it here. If you are looking into like if you're there in the India, so you just take those just download your schedule for yourself. Some of the this is primarily about Ashravidya and the attractions of the last year conference, which you are seeing some of the images over here to relate. And I will just take one more minute and talk about Ashravidya Gurukulam is one of the great place to visit, either for the conference or coming in general. It's a very nice place. The people who visit just fall in love with this place, especially the vibrations around, as well as the who has a deep interest towards ancient wisdom. So knowledge get transferred over here in terms of Vedanta, chanting, yoga, meditation. Sanskrit classes is the main attraction over here. So we say it ashram there in US with all the modern amenities. So come and enjoy the place either for the conference or in general. And with that, I would like to stop sharing and let's get into the discussion today. So once again, welcome everyone being here, and we will be getting into the discussion with Gordon today. So Gordon, I will pin you the spotlight with us. Okay, so Gordon, do you like to just talk about yourself, like you are going to speak for the first time, you're coming in to Ashravidya. So how is it? How you got in touch with Rakesh? So how excited you are to be a part of us?
I had a connection a long time ago. About 1999, I think, I met Yogi Karve, and he told me that I presented him with the chart for the IRA, and it disturbed him, I would say. But he did tell me when the conflict would finish, and he was right, which was very interesting. Anyway, then in the Bava conferences, we've had Dr. Charak a number of times come to speak for us, and I got to know Dr. Charak and also Vinay Aditya quite well. And Dr. Charak invited me to, Rakesh said that Dr. Charak had put my name forward to come to the conference, and I'm just very, very interested in mundane astrology. I follow events, and of course, relationships are the very big thing in mundane astrology, as they are in personal astrology as well. So I will be looking at relationships. In other words, for example, how countries are getting on with other countries and things like that. And also I'll be looking at dashas, because there's a particular technique, or there's a couple of techniques that are not used generally, not known about publicly, and enable you to get a very good insight into what a country is intending, or is thinking, or is aiming, and what's happening, so to speak. So if I don't know if anybody followed the Turkish elections, which happened just last weekend on the in terms of astrology charts, but it was very easy and very clear to follow. Once the first vote had taken place, it was very easy to see what would happen on the second vote. If you followed the astrology chart, but it was very difficult to see what would happen on the first chart because the two forces were fairly equally ranged against each other. So there can be very easy answers, and other situations you don't find out easily at all.
Nice.
Lovely to hear that. So we will also moving on, like today is going to be a more of a discussion of both of you. So Charity would like to also ask one of the questions to you. We see the last time also we spoke about the trinities of the Gemini, which you are going to speak. So one of the questions which comes in our mind is especially about this Bijasputa and the Kshetrasputa. So is like, why does that entire edifice of Gemini astrology stand on a fractured longitude system, unlike other calculation in astrology? The sign is dropped for deciding that Charakarka, and without that sign, it is not a proper longitude of the planet. So do you want to just give us some of the emphasis on this one?
See, thank you, Melakshi. Nice to meet you, Mr. Garden.
And Chari, same to you.
Thank you very much. Crossing 80 years, just for information. Having been in the field of Gemini astrology for quite some time, say maybe 30 years of study, I find that a good question has been asked. But people have forgotten that in those days, male chauvinistic society was there. They gave more importance to male domination. Therefore, when they chose the avasthas into account, the status of planets into the account, they decided that a man should be prominent and a woman should be behind, inside the house. They were not allowed to move. Therefore, they have to start from the beginning, whereas the man should be a matured person to lead the life. From this context, if you just analyze why the planet with higher longitude is Atmakaraka, especially in an odd sign, planets have reached the highest longitude, that is reaching the matured destination. See, you have 5 kinds of Baladi avasthas. Bhala avastha, meaning childhood. Yuva avastha, youthhood. Kumar avastha, youthhood, youth. Then you have Yuva avastha, meaning adolescence. Then Vriddha avastha, meaning maturity of mind, old age. Then Mrit avastha, the dead. Gemini has coined this especially for meaning that when a person would be mature enough, only when he goes into the stream. That is, when the planet has already crossed the Rashi, not at the beginning of the Rashi. So he says Bhava Madhya. Bhava Madhya means you are strong. Yuva Avastha, you are very strong. Not in the childhood stage or in the Vriddha Avastha. Therefore, when you come to the Vriddha Avastha stage, you are matured enough to deal with situations, learn the art, and then able to spell out how to manage a particular situation. Whereas the Bhala Avastha, which is childhood Avastha, in the initial stages, there he says that when you read Parasara system or any system for the matter, the avasthas have to be taken into consideration to determine the strength of a planet as to when they will give the results. Therefore, between a man and a woman, a matured man to marry a person with still to mature, that was in the olden days, not today. Today it is just the reverse. But firbi, even then, you find the avasthas have been taken into consideration for purpose of determining the karakas, not like a bijasputa. What is bijasputa or what is chatrasputa? To convey a definitiveness of a particular event in life. Whereas when you say Atmakaraka, whether you are capable of dealing with the situation from birth to the last day of life. A Dharakaraka is one who has to start the stages, balance between the young and the old, the husband and the child, to manage the situation. Therefore, she has to learn. After coming into the new home, she has to learn a lot. So, Dharakaraka, when you say least longitude, it is given because she has got the patience to go through the process of dealing with different kinds of personalities. It's only the man who is supposed to be mature. That is the reason why we are taking the Karakas into various mold. One. Right? So, Baladi Avasthas is taken into consideration, nothing else. Isliye you are omitting the signs. Is it? I hope the answer will satisfy those who have raised the question.
Yes. It does.
5 kinds of avasthas must be taken into consideration. Therefore, when the Atmakaraka is coming in Yuva Avastha, so also Dharakaraka in Yuva Avastha, there will be a fight between them. There will be always finding difference of opinion coming in. That is why that one will be at the end, the other one will be at the beginning. Then only you will be able to go through the process of life. That's the purpose of this. Okay.
Wow. Sounds very good. Thanks a lot, Chariji, for explaining it so well. So moving on to the Gordon right now. So Gordon, we just want to know in your mundane astrology, you talked about, so just do tell us a little bit more about the relationship in the mundane astrology. In addition, I would like to ask you a question about, does we also consider debilitated planets into mundane or not? Or, does even the effect of the debilitated planets are there with and without Neech Bhanga or not?
So the debilitated planet applies throughout all astrological consideration. If a planet is debilitated, it has an effect. But the effect is, I think it's a mistake to try and make rules for debilitated planets and general rules, because you have to look at the specific instance. And how to find out about the specific instance is to look at the guna and the tattva of the planet. So, for example, if the sun is in Libra, then it's in the sign of its one of its main enemies, the sun. The Venus, and also the air element is Saturn, is ruled by Saturn. So the sun gets rather negative, as well as weak, in Libra, and so Libra as a sign is quite warlike. Yeah. So because if you see Aries in the 7th house, you've got lots of charts of conflicts have Libra lugnas, Libra ascendants. So you use the element and the quality, the tattva and the guna of the planet and the sign of the zodiac to look at these things specifically.
Lovely. So with that thought, so Chariji, just moving on to you. So we always say since the debilited graha is the most of the chart receives the Nich Bhanga Raj Yog by one rule or other. So, and they also sometimes gets, supposed to get even the results of the Raj Yoga. Why are they then like, there's so much get an emphasis on the debilitated graha in the classics? What is your thought on that?
One thing you must understand, there are 7 situations in which a planet can get in.
Okay.
Like exaltation, sign, own sign, Mula Trikon sign, friendly sign, neutral sign, debilitated and inimical sign. Inimical and debilitated sign. That means 7 situations are there. These 7
Do
situations.
we also consider retrogression here or no?
No. Retrogression is another aspect, astronomical aspect. It is not a situation. So when we take these 7 factors, a planet which in exaltation is deemed to give 100% result. So planet in debilitation in the same equation should give you 14% result.
Okay, got it.
That's how we should evaluate a debilitated planet, whether it is Nichabanga or otherwise. The very point is, it depends on the strength. If we are not well, we will not be able to attend the conference, or we will not be able to speak in the conference, or effectively, we will not be able to present the matter on astrologer side. A sickly person will not be able to do the daily chorus in the normal way. But he does it now.
Yes.
He does it. Therefore, to what extent? To the ability he has got. Therefore, a debilitated planet should not be ignored. Should be evaluated in the sense that it is going to give lesser result when compared to a planet which are of having higher strength. That's how it should be evaluated. You should not ignore it, and nobody has ignored. Debilitated planet is a weak planet. Therefore, according to the weaker strength, it has got to give the result. So let us take that way. For those who are new to the astrology, you must understand debilitated planet need not cause any alarm. Only thing is, the poor results will come out of it when compared to an exalted planet. That's it.
Yeah. So how much of a support a weak planet gets when it becomes really getting a support from the dispositor and from the Nich Bhanga is actually qualified in that case?
In my opinion, whenever a planet is in debilitation or planet in exaltation in the D1 chart, it's our duty to verify whether in Navamsa also it carries the same thing or has it improved or gone down. So the real strength of a planet can be measured from the Navamsa only. If Navamsa showing exaltation of the planet which was in debilitation, say for example, Sun in Libra with 21 degrees will go to Navamsa exaltation. Therefore, the Sun real strength is exaltation. Therefore, Sun should give its potency in the years to come, not immediately. Navamsa stage when it comes. So you understand that marriage time, that much of years you should got to go to evaluate. So if around 20 years after, if Sun Dasha comes, it should give proper result, not immediately. That's how we should answer the questions for purpose of understanding or for purpose of predictions.
Very interesting. Yeah. So moving on, we would like to look into some of the Trikona houses. And one of the controversial points comes in the Trikona houses is what are the good significance, like especially the positive significations of the Trikona houses. So, either of you can take up this question. So why are they like deployed almost always in the classic? So say, for example, we are looking into the sixth house. Sixth house is also the eighth from 11th, or you can say 11th from the eighth. So how to decipher its effect in the promises in terms of dasha and transit? And you can definitely look into the other part which we talk about. It's called Ari Bhava or Rog Bhava. So how do you like to just emphasis on this one? And starting with Gordon, you can start with that, and then we'll move to Chad.
Okay, so just to clarify things, we're not talking about trikona houses, which are 1, 5, and 9. We're talking about trick houses,
yes,
which are 3, 6, and 11. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 6,
so
8, and 12.
Brick houses are usually, Trisha, yes, I may be getting them mixed up. Anyway, 6, 8, and 12. Well, they're the kind of repositories of what we would think of as the most difficult areas of the chart. The 6th house enemies, the 8th house persistent difficulties, and the 12th house the final house or loss, or they're not the 8th house and the 12th house. They just, whichever planet is ruling those, the planet is responsible for the difficulties represented by the 8th house and the 12th house. But you have to be careful about the 6th house, because the planet lording the 6th house is rather more malefic. So if you take the situation of Mercury in the natural chart beginning with Aries, then the 3rd and the 6th are ruled by Mercury, and the 11th house is ruled by Saturn. The 11th house represents quite a kind of evil influence in a way. So there's 6, 8, and 12, and there's 3, 6, and 11. There's 2 different situations. It's with 3, 6, and 11. It's a simple way. It's about enemies mainly. So this 3rd is how you're being an enemy to other people. The 6th is how they're being an enemy to you, and the 11th is how this whole result of this situation is affecting everybody, and how in the wider context what the result of this is. With 8th and 12th, they have good things as well as bad things. 6, 8, and 12. So 8th is you might win the lottery. 12th house, you might benefit from some charitable donation. So every single chart, you have to examine the things individually. Anyway.
So one of the things which is said is like if
I would like to add 1 second. Yes. I would like
go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Gordon, with your permission, right?
Yeah, sure.
The 6, 8, 12, no doubt 3 houses.
Yeah.
They are upachaya sthanas. 6th house is upachaya, growth house.
Yeah.
3rd, 6th, and 11.
Yeah.
Right, fine. 8th house is trikona to 4th and 12th.
Yeah.
Trines to 4th and 12th. That is, on one side, you call it an ancestral property house 8. Why it is called ancestral property is to be seen from the 8th house. It is because it is 4th from the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandfather's house.
Yeah.
Therefore, when it comes and devolved upon you, you call it an ancestral property. The same way, the 12th house is 9th to 4th. It is 4th from the 9th house. Therefore, father's house.
Yeah.
Right? And 4th house is your house of comforts.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we take this 4, 8, 12, they are in trains.
Mm-hmm.
How can we ignore 8th house as a bad one? Therefore, purpose here, 6, 8, 12, from the Lagna, no doubt is the trick house.
Mm-hmm.
Causing some trouble in the form of diseases, in the form of debts, in the form of death, in the form of expenditure or lavishness from the Lagna. But it is not so from any other house. If you take it from the second, it is fifth thereof. If you third, it is fourth thereof.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose for which you are looking into the sixth house or eighth house or 12th house? That matters a lot, rather than branding it as a bad house.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
This
definitely.
is what I want to add with what Mr. Garden has already told.
Yeah.
Therefore, never brand any house as bad or good. I will say every house is good or bad, but the purpose is very important. The event for which you are looking into it must be important, because the second house is 9th, 6th. Your father's illness can be measured from your second house. If you want to measure it, you want to estimate it. Therefore, every house will be 1 to 12 houses within the same horoscope.
Yeah.
Therefore, when you take 6, 8, 12 houses, the purpose for which it is being gauged must be taken into consideration before it is branded as good or bad. Well, I have added correctly, Mr. Garden?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it's fine. Bhavan,
Yes.
that's the principle, and you learn how to use it. Absolutely, yes.
Lovely. So I would just like to add, extend on this one further, is there are times, say a Venus is sitting in 6th house. Okay. So people say, what a waste, like a beautiful planet sitting in the 6th house. Or other way of saying is, say a Mars is sitting in 8th house, and you say that actually makes a more interest people towards astrology or your Mars connection to the 8th house. At the same time, it says that the Mars is being content in that 8th house. So do you like to add this point, because these things are pretty confused for astrologers, how to see it, like a good planet in a trick house or a bad planet sitting into not a good house? Is it seen as a content or not?
So the Venus in the 6th house would be in Virgo naturally, which is its sign of debility, and Mars would be in Scorpio, which is its own house. So always Venus in the 6th house would be in a worse condition than Mars in the 8th house. Even if Mars is in Cancer, its 8th house, it likes this 8th house role in life. If you've got Venus in the 6th house, find out what's happening to Jupiter. Can Jupiter give some way out of this difficulty for Venus?
Lovely. Very nice way of putting it together. So, Ariji, do you like to add something?
The Venus in the 6th house. Venus gets debilitated in Kanya or Virgo.
Yep.
If you take it Venus in the 6th house to be debilitated, it's not to be considered like that. Venus in the 6th house, in whose Lagna? For him, it will be beautiful. For a person, Venus without affliction would definitely give a good marital life, even if it is the 6th house. But there is a possibility catch. If Venus is in inimical house in the 6th house, it may cause problem to the spouse. For it has to be judged from that point of view. Generally speaking, anything would be good, anything will be bad. It is whether it's a malefic planet or benefic planet. But one must understand to what Lagna it is posited, from moon where it is posited, from the natural zodiac which Rashi it is posited. It has to be taken into consideration before predicting on the particular position of a planet. Therefore, hypothetically, we can say everything good, everything bad. But let that be a horoscope. Let us discuss on that. What will happen to that Venus or Mars? That will be the proper way of delineation.
Yes, you need an object to apply all these rules to. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, yeah. So moving on. So one of the question pretty much came from the Vinayji towards say a trick house and Astak Varga Bindu. So do you think that the trick house will have a higher Astak Varga Bindus or it will have a low Astak Varga Bindus?
Generally, the sixth house has quite high Akshaka Bindus. Nearly all charts.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. So is that like that higher Astak Varga Bindus for the auspicious result, or so how? So if it is a
So
higher,
there's a natural pattern of houses, yeah. And the sixth house should be high. The seventh house should be relatively peaceful, low. Then you go up gradually up to the 10th house, and the 11th house you want lots, and then the 12th house you want as little as possible, generally speaking. So there's a kind of natural up and down pattern of houses.
okay. So getting a little bit deep into in terms of the Astak Varga Bindus, there is a Bindu called Syodaya Pinda. So do you like to just talk a little bit more about that?
I'll hand that over to Chari. That's not my expertise.
Okay. So, do you like to talk a little bit more about that? I'm not very much familiar a lot with the Bindus of Astak Varga, so that will be really very helpful.
Shodyapinda means Shodyapinda. You are talking about Shodyapinda.
Shodyapinda.
Yeah. Shodhya means the position of a planet after the reductions have taken place.
Okay.
That is Shodhyapinda. Shodhya means all reductions, whatever is to be done, that is Ekadapatti Shodhana, Trikona Shodhana. After reducing on the basis of trains or after reducing the lordship. Ekadapatti Shodhana, because 5 planets have got 2 different signs. So you have to reduce that to find out. Therefore, after the 2 reductions have undertaken, you call it a Shodhyapinda. Whatever remains. Okay, done. That Pinda that comes, you have to calculate to find out what will be the number of days within which the matters have to take place. Shodhyapinda is research karna hai. So Shodhyapinda results are often numerically calculated, but in my opinion, it is not giving the very correct clue. But for purpose of conference, we can highlight one of the horoscope and point out that it has happened. But practically taking, exactly we have got to go through, because there are 2-3 rules that are there. There, for example, where to take it, count it from Ashwini or from Dhanishta, the nakshatra that will be coming into the calculations. So these are all yet to be researched properly, even though ancients have given all the clues. Much research have to be done with this timing of even through Shodhyapinda. This way.
Got it. So moving on to let's talk a little bit more about the mundane charts, Gordon. So which mundane chart will you try to use for a prediction of the conflict of the Russia and Ukraine, which is going on?
Well, I work always according to a certain principle. That is, I don't like very much to risk using a chart which is not correct. Therefore, I tend to use, if the chart is in doubt, I would tend to use something like the Chaitra Shukla or the full moon charts, something which is an astronomical certainty, so that the chart itself cannot be incorrect. On the other hand, you can use, we have the chart for Russia in 1991. You could go back and use the chart if you were seriously in doubt about that. And there are several different charts proposed for the state of Russia when it sort of reformed itself. You can still go back to, I think it was 1917, the original chart, and you could still use that, and you can get, because that's a firm time, and you can still get some clear indications about what will be happening now from that chart.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So moving on, let's look into.
Oh, if you sorry, could I?
Go ahead.
I just say,
Go ahead.
Did you want me to give dates and times of the charts? If you can, I can, if you wish. But anyway.
No, primarily my question was more on: are you looking into the Chaitra Shukla Patipada or any other?
I would like
I
to
use
add,
I use the Chaitra Shukla a lot. Yes.
I would like to add here. See, Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. Shukla Pratipada means it is a Nanda Tithi. The lunar day is Ananda Tithi. It should be read as Ananda Tithi. Chandra, Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. Shukla means full moon. After that, you get your Pratipada. So, when the days are formed or the yearly chart is formed, Shukla Pratipada, it means the entire country should face good things during the year. If at the time of the annual chart, which you prepare on the basis of Chaitra Shukla Pratipada of any country for that matter, it describes what are all the possibilities that will happen during the year. Therefore, Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is a very important phenomena as propounded by sages. Apart from that, every country has got its own horoscope. Birth chart is also required. In the Independence Day chart is also required to find out a comparison of the events that is going to take place during the year. So relying upon only one chart is risky.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. If you have more than one chart, it's best to have.
You have to go through all the process.
Yeah.
There is a question.
The world at the moment of the Chaitra Shukla chart, the world for everywhere in the world, it's the same chart. So it's like this ascendant plugs in here, and this other ascendant plugs in over here, and everybody has or every country has a different ascendant, and you're reading the same chart. So you therefore don't base really.
When does Chaitra Shukla Pratipada take place? At that country, that is important. The time.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
So that you get the chart of that country only. Thereby you will find it will not be same for all countries because Lagna will change.
Oh no, Lagna changes, but the planets' longitudes do not change.
Planets no, that's true. Lagna changes. Therefore, you will find pertaining to that country you can decide.
There is a quick question. There is a very quick question in the chat, which is related to the discussion which is going on, saying that please exemplify using any country chart, Ukraine or Russia. Do any of you want to pick up?
I think Mr. Gordon must be, because he's practicing mundane astrology.
Yes. So if you look at the Chaitra Shukla for the time that Russia invaded, so that's last year's for when Russia invaded Ukraine. Then the Russian ascendant is, I think, in Gemini, and the Ukraine ascendant is in Taurus. So you get a very different situation about comparing the third and the sixth house and where all the different planets are, and it can tell you a lot about the sort of purpose of Russia at the time.
So I will say we are going to talk a lot about the mundane during our Jyotish conference. So we definitely would like to welcome you to be able to be a part of us and
Thank you.
see the
Yeah.
discussion there,
Right.
because, yeah, so we'll have a couple of sessions on that one. So she said, thank you. So moving on, and we are talking about, say, Badhak houses and its lordship. How that does, like, in what certain conditions, like, how important is the Badhak houses? That becomes the first question. And does it has a specific use under certain condition, or does it have a general use or anything? How do you utilize it in the mundane astrology? So do you like to, like, again, would like to start with Gordon on this topic, and then we'll move to Chariji.
Well, I do use it quite a lot. I think it's very important. So when there's some terrible accident in the street and someone's killed, etc., it's not usual to go back to the birth chart and discover that that has something to do with the Badhak or something. Yeah, the Badhak is a very serious thing in a chart, and it's you should take care of what's going on with it. Yeah.
Lovely. Chariji, do you like to add?
See, Badhak, the word Badhak means creating obstruction. Now, for a sthira lagna, for a fixed sign, the 9th lord is supposed to be the Badhaka. Now, in respect of Taurus, the 9th lord is Saturn, that is Yogakaraka. So, how Yogakaraka can become Badhak?
Yep.
Is a question to be debated. Therefore, something else should have been in the mind of the sages when they say, prescribe that 9th. 7th lord is a Badhaka for a dual sign. And 7th lord is the spouse of a dual sign. So conflict between husband and wife will be there always. It's not so.
Well, Mercury and Jupiter don't get on in terms of marriage.
Exactly. Therefore, Badhak exactly belong. See, Badhak does not mean having a bad notation, but there will be an obstruction in between the course of events. See, in a country horoscope, if 4th lord and 6th lord contains a Badhaka from the Janma Lagna, there will be likely to be accidents. This is what sages have told. Let us check that and see whether it is thing. Vehicular accident will take place if 4th lord and 6th lord have got a conjoined, each other. Why? Because 4th house is a vehicle, 6th house is creation of accident. Therefore, problems if they are. If 3rd lord and 6th lord have a conjoined, railway accident may take place. Mundane astrology has taught like this. Therefore, the purpose of Badhaka comes in only when there is an obstruction. So such incidents of negative tendencies will take place only when planets which are Badhak in nature, creating obstruction, will take place. Otherwise, you have to take it as a Yogakaraka planet for Taurus Lagna. Right? And if they are weak, they may cause the impediments. If they are very strong, I don't think they will only support the other way because they are happy mood. These factors have to be taken into consideration before deeming it as a Badhak lord.
Very interesting.
Somewhere
so Taurus represents wealth and enjoyment of life and your family and everything. And Capricorn is extremely simple. It's death, nothing. It's just death. So you pursue your desires and don't think about anything else. That you're just going to go into the grave.
Wow.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So just getting into the Sadbala of the houses. So Sadbala of the planet. So when we are looking into Sadbala in general, we see for the the Bindu points in Ashtak Varga becomes very high for these Sadbala planets. While at the same time, this called Vistaka Bindu becomes low. So do you like to, like, Chariji, do you like to talk about this Ashtak Varga Bindus and talk about how one is very high, other is low, how to then conclude it?
Two things must be taken into account. You are combining two things. What is Shadbala? Shadbala is sixfold strength, determining the strength of a planet, whether it is capable of doing things according to its strength in various facets, whether it is motional strength very strong, whether it is directional strength strong, whether it is aspectual strength strong or permanent strength strong. Sixfold strength is measured physical phenomena of the planet. Whereas the Bindus in Ashtak Varga is transit effect of planet where they will shine. So do not mix both. It is a physical phenomena. That is, I am very strong and a dubla patla lean person coming. See, it is said in Sanskrit, Vivadascha vivakascha samayoreva vedate. Vivad ho, vivah ho, whether it is marriage or dispute. You should always speak with equals, deal with equals. The court, having two sides advocates, whoever is strong will win to convince the court. The judge depends upon the effectiveness of. Therefore, in Bindu wise, this bhava is strong, this bhava is strong. The planet posited there must be considered to be strong because it is posited in a particular bhava. So, bhava bindu say, we are ascertaining through Ashtak Varga the bhava strength. Right? If you take that a particular planet is posited in a bhava having 5 bindus, it is capable of giving better results in respect of its own lordship as well as the planet bhavas which are aspected. So, assessment of Ashtavarga bindus in regard to looking into the strength of that bhava is a different matter with regard to movement of planets or transit of planets. Whereas Shadbala is a physical phenomena that if it is retrograde, it will have this much of strength. If it is Pachabala or it will have. So Chandrama in Pachabala, when it is full moon or new moon, the Chandrama will be full moon, it will be very strong, 60 systems, whereas in new moon it is 0.
Yes.
But Chandrama is Chandrama. Whether it is Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha, whether it is waning for night or waxing for night. If that is the case, are we not taking moon as a prominent planet for purpose of deciding what is going to happen in your mind, what is happening in your mind? So, on the basis of Krishna Paksha Janma, birth during dark fortnight, birth during waxing fortnight, so you find difference exists. The brightness of mind is during waxing fortnight, whereas the dullness will be there during. So Amavasya is the starting point for growth. Whereas Purnamasi is starting point for regression.
Yes.
So the planet moon gets reduced its powers when it is moving from Shukla Paksha to Krishna Paksha or from Purnamasi to Amavasya. So the strength of moon or strength of your mind depends upon. So bindus are measured. If Chandrama, even in Vrishika, is going to give you 5 bindus, Are we not saying that we will help? Even if I am not able to walk, I will take a vehicle and go and help the person. Why? Because there is a mind for me. So in that case, that bhava in which that planet is posited or his Lagna Lord is posited will be very strong. So Ashtavarga Bindu helps that way.
Lovely.
Whereas Shadbala is how strong I am. How many kilos I am. That's all. This is the difference between Shadbala and
I like
Ashtavarga.
that it's how I am. So Gordon, to you, so looking into this full moon and this, is it also considered in the mundane astrology as well, looking into the waxing and the waning moon, and how does
Oh
it
yes,
impact?
absolutely, always, yes. I think you can extend the principle of that when the moon is going down towards the sun in its journey, then there's a difficult period. And then when it is gone past the energy of past the sun and is rising up, there's a better period. So the same happens with the planets, the same happens with Rahu. It's when the sun and the moon are going past Rahu. The approach of a planet to another planet is often quite difficult, and then when it's escaped that and it's on the other side, it's a much more positive situation.
Wow, so nicely explained that part, because it applies to the other planets as well. So now we will be opening up to give an opportunity to even the audience to start asking some of the questions, and I'm starting with the few questions which is already written in the chat. So starting with the YB Kumarji, the question has been asked for Chariji. The question is, what avamsha is to be considered for Dasha system? What avamsha? What avamsha? Avamsha.
I don't. Avamsa?
Yes.
What's an avamsa?
Ayanamsha. I think Ayanamsha.
Ayanamsa.
Yes.
What Ayanamsa? Na?
Yes.
It is Ayanamsa. Na?
Yes.
Right. What Ayanamsa is to be for? Repeat the question.
Oh, what Ayanamsha is to be considered for?
Ayanamsa. Ayana means moving. Ayanamsa. Precision of equinox. Precision of equinoxes.
For
Ayanamsa.
For Dasha.
Dasha. See, Ayanamsa again is Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa, which has been accepted by the government.
Okay.
See, if you see ephemeris, a note has been given there. I would like the reader to read that. How important is Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa? It has been codified. Every ephemeris contains this note on ephemeris. You just see, you will get the information about it. And Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa, because every author who has innovated the Ayanamsa, Dr. B. V. Raman's Ayanamsa is there. He has claimed, but there was a conference in India around 2000 conducted by the Lal Bahadur Shastri Vidyapith in those days, where people insisted on Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa, that Dr. Raman also accepted it, even though he did not attend, but he accepted it, saying, I have no objection to people following Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa, but I also get results in respect of my own Ayanamsa. This is how the things go. But Dasha system, whatever my experience is, follow only Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa.
Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa.
Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa.
I could
24 degrees something. Yeah. Now 23 degrees, 24. Yeah.
It's
Anything you want to add?
a very live situation. Yeah. If you use a different Ayanamsha, your entire understanding of astrology is going to change and change and change to suit that Ayanamsha, but it might not suit reality. It might be a little bit out.
Not that. The result of Dasha system is asking specifically. Specifically, Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa for Dasha system for 120 years. For that
I'm happy
purpose,
with
he's
that.
asking.
Yeah,
Whereas
I'm happy with
Chitrapacha
that.
Ayanamsa, nahi, Chitrapacha Ayanamsa, if fixed zodiac with Chitrapacha Ayanamsa has no meaning. See, you people follow fixed zodiac system. Sayana zodiac and Nirayana zodiac tropical system. Na? So when you use that, you have to go according to the principle you are adopting there. Yeah? So we will differ. We will differ. But in the Indian atmosphere, Chitrapacha Ayanamsa, that's
I use Chitrapacha and
meaning.
Amsha. We're not. I don't think we're different.
Nirayana zodiac. Bas. For Nirayana zodiac.
Yeah.
Right?
So Chitrapaksha.
No, it is subject to controversy. That's why
Got
the
it.
question has been asked. Yeah.
Got it. So one of the follow-up question came from the discussion which we had on debilitated planet. It is saying, what if a debilitated planet is Vargotama?
Very good.
So
That
what
is
change?
inherent strength is there. But for its illness, it's not able to help. Let's put that way practically. When you say Vargotam, I am having enough strength. For the present, I am indisposed. I will come and help you. Wait. That is the meaning of Vargotama. Nich Vargotama. Nich Vargotama, 14 plus another 14 add karo. 28% result. Vargotam means what? In the Navamsa, in deep situation of a planet, it is in the same sign. So continues to be debilitation, but in the same sign, both in Rashi and Navamsa. Therefore, if that Rashi in which I am placed for Chandrama, Chandrama is placed in Martian sign, right?
In Scorpio.
Mercury is placed in
Pisces.
Pisces. Venus is placed in Kanya or Virgo. Right? Saturn is placed in Mars and Sun is placed in the debilitation. If they are Vargotam, right? 1, 4, 7, 10. So first Navamsa it should be. Otherwise it cannot. So it has to be within 3 degrees 20 minutes. Therefore Ashwini 1, Punarasu 4, ya Chitra 3, ya Uttara Phalguni 2nd. Only these planets can become Nichabanga Vargotam, Nich Vargotam. So any planet which is posited in that sign, in a Nicha Vargotama, depends upon where it is posited. The planet, what relation it has got with the Lord of the Bhava, that is posited. Then only one can determine how effective it could be. Offhand, it all depends upon horoscope. Put up the horoscope, we will explain. The best system is, in such cases, a particular horoscope being displayed, let's find out what will be the effect of that, so that they will understand exactly what could be this. Yeah.
Lovely. So Gordon, in the rules applies very similarly even in the mundane area, or it's different?
No difference at all. No. They're the same planets, the same chart. The only difference is in the karakas, what is being referred to in the lives of the mundane organizations or beings. Yeah.
Signification, it depends on the significations.
The significations are different, like what it
Yes,
signifies for. Yeah. In the individual chart, the significations are very different as compared to what we are looking at.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds good. Moving on with the questions. So Ratna Babu has asked a question: is it considered good to have malefic planet in 6, 8, and 12 houses?
Malefic planets will cause damage of some sort wherever they go, but they will also fight against the attacks on the 6th, 8th and 12th houses if they're there. So if Mars is in the 6th, you'll have a good defender. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But he can cause you difficulties in the 6th house.
Again,
matters.
Ms. Binarchi, you must put up a horoscope where it is 6, 8, 12 malefic to enable us to explain exactly what the questioner is asking for.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
In future, it's better to put a horoscope with that so that the result will be on the board.
Lovely. No, I understand that, especially in the astrology, when we are trying to use a
Hypothetical question.
Exactly.
That is what.
And that's the purpose of our conference. When we are a part of it, you will see like how many charts we will be analyzing during the conference. That's what we are going to do. So
questions are relevant, no doubt, but on the horoscope, it will be more coming out truly.
Exactly. While in the West, we say I understand the question it is coming from. There are times it says that if a malefic is sitting in 6, 8, and 12, it is more content. So that's the word content is there. So they say that it's better as compared to being sitting in the, like say, a Kendra or a Trikona position and doing all the harms as compared to being in 6 at 12. So that's where the question was more coming from. So
Saturn in the 8th is good. Mars in the 6th is good. You can talk in general.
That's
because I square. But if the Saturn, for which lagna it is in the 8th power.
Yes.
It is to be seen.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what.
So you have to examine the things individually. So if you put Saturn, you could say if you put Saturn in the 6th, then Saturn is aspecting the 3rd, 8th, and 12th houses. So he's going to help you because his aspects are going to the bad places.
Exactly. 8, 12, 3rd. Exactly. Opposite, whatever havas it is aspecting, it is going to give some trouble because it's a malefic. But being in the 6th, it will be opposing malefics. That's all.
Okay, got that.
For the native, it will be good because malefic is in 6th.
Yeah, so there is a question from the YB Kumarji.
Malefic in the 6th, immunity is granted if it is malefic in the 6th. That's why it's content for it.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
So YB Kumarji, do you like to speak about your question? The question is, what about angles of planets? Does it have some role? So I do not understand in what context this question is. So we'll give an opportunity to him to be able to speak about this. So YB Kumarji, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions too at this stage. While I will, at this point of time, I will keep moving on to the question which is already written. So the question from the Ajit Ji is, do you consider Kunj dosha in D1 only or also in D9? Kunj dosha consideration. So Gordon, we can start with you and then we'll move on.
Means Mangal, Mars.
Yeah, so I would also look at it in D9, yes.
Okay, you look into D9.
But having said that, D9 is looking at the chart in a particular way. So you can't look at the Kuja dosha in D1 in the same way exactly as you look at it in D9.
Okay. Chariji, do you like to add something? Or
Rashi and Navamsa should always be evaluated for any malefic positions, including puja, to assess what is called dosha samya, or to find out naturally neutralization of doshas. That is the purpose of puja dosha, shani dosha, rahu dosha, whatever planet, malefics there. Why puja alone should cause the problem? Every planet which is malefic in nature would cause. Therefore, if you get into Kerala Jyotishis, in Kerala, in India, you'll find, they will definitely find the total percentage of doshas in both in the boy's horoscope and the girl's horoscope and find out the neutralization effect. To find out the balance between whether the new doshas that are there caused by the malefics can be neutralized. Okay, that is the purpose of Kuja dosha first. Now, Kuja dosha specifically, either it is 1, 4, 7, 8, 12 or 2, 4, 7, 8, 12 according to your tradition. A malefic in Lagna, Mars in Lagna, just for I can take 2 more minutes for that. Because Mars in Lagna, what will happen? There will be some scar in your head. And a person will be very rude in behavior because it is in your brain. Therefore, you will be short-tempered. This is the behavior pattern. If it is the 4th house, comforts are lost. But the same person will have houses. Property will be there for him.
Yeah.
So Kuja dosha is looked into how the marital life would go. Therefore, harmony is to be assessed for that purpose only. So when it is 7th and 8th, the biological problems will be there in the woman, so to check up, etc. Right? Okay.
And also there's the fact to be taken into account that the nature of the planet, so it's specifically Mars, Kuja dosha, because Mars doesn't grow up, doesn't really have a mature emotional outlook on life.
For information, Dr. Raman had Kuja dosha, but he lived for 89 years. What?
Oh, that's good.
Why? Anxiety is more of fear. It's more of fear. So every horoscope is to be assessed. If there are certain exceptions of Kuja dosha, that should also be taken into consideration. Mere position of a planet, Mars in a particular bhava, does not cause dosha. Provided it is inimical to the Lagna, then only it will give problems. Otherwise, it will not.
Interesting. So if we take an example of in a Virgo chart or a Gemini chart, Mars is sitting in the 1st house with Mercury. So how that will be considered in terms of
I
personality?
think we'll have more cousin brothers. Straight
Okay.
answer for you. 1. Right? Lagna mein, you find in the Lagna, Mars and Mercury are posited. Therefore, I'm telling cousin brothers will be there. Okay. And cousin brothers in respect of Gemini and cousin sisters in respect of Virgo. This is one thing. If you ask me generally.
Okay.
But Lagna Lord in Virgo is exalted, while 8th Lord is in the 6th thereof. Right? 8th Lord posited. Therefore, there may be dispute in properties in that. That's how it should be taken. Mars dosha causing. Now, Mars is with Mercury. Therefore, dosha is cancelled, is written. So even though they are inimical in nature, Mars with Mercury or aspected Mercury will cancel the dosha. Then where is the question? What? That's how it should be measured. That is why I'm telling, even if it is 8th Lord or 4th Lord or 6th Lord or 12th Lord for the matter, for which Lagna and what position is very important, with whom it is and what relation it carries. Must be seen for compatibility.
In the specific case you asked of Mars and Mercury in Gemini, then it's a dual sign, and you can't overcome this dual nature. So having 2 planets and in this 1-7 axis, you're going to have a permanent kind of difference in there. Yeah.
Lovely. So there is one more question coming in kind of in a similar sense, that what is the strength of combust planet? If the sun and the combust planets also fall in the same Navamsha, So, for example, if the sun and a combust planet within minutes are in the same padas in D1, they all will go into the same Navamsha. So, do you like to add to some point? Gordon, starting with you.
I would hesitate to give a general rule on that. I would like to see individual charts. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I understand that. No, even I would like to go. So Charity, do you like to add?
Just see the 5 planets when they are close to sun gets combust. Meaning the sun and the Panchataras, as they are called, that is, other than moon, but the other 5, if they are close to sun, they lose their shine. Let us take sun and Mercury. 90% of the case, sun and Mercury will be together because of 28 degrees elongation. Now, assuming they are very close, Buddha Aditya Yoga is formed. Buddha Aditya means Sun Mercury Yoga. Education is assured. Now, how much education I will get? I will get 40% and pass. That's all. Instead, if the same Mercury is 8 Navamsa ahead with Sun or behind Sun, I will get 90%. That is Buddha Aditya Yoga formation. Therefore, in general, we can talk. But specifically, horoscopes have to be on the board to explain exactly what exactly is happening in that horoscope. That will be the final way of explaining what he meant by combust. Combust meant in idea of combustion is what? I am taking your shine off. Because sun is the luminary. Therefore, your shine is off means you are powerless. How much powerless you are? Maudya avastha. That is, the avastha is behind the debilitation, below the debilitation rather. Because out of the 10 avasthas, first 10 avasthas we have taken debility 7, the rest of these are weak. Therefore, they are considered useless. But in literal term, in the sense as I explained to you, Sun Mercury, the person will be turbulent, will take time to understand, will take slow process of understanding this. Therefore, in the class, he may be, but a teacher has to teach everybody. Whether he's a dull student or a very progressive student, the teacher will take into account and give him least mark. Then the person who is bright, that's what the practical application if you see Sun Mercury. Like that, every planet which is associated with Sun getting combust, Sun Venus combust. Then marriage will be delayed. The pleasure of Venus will not be there in the person. Let's think that way. Okay.
Got it. So there is another question in the chat, which I'm saying is called for a Leo ascendant. Mars is in the Badhaka, ruling the 9th house and being in 6th, but it is exalted in Capricorn. How will the Mars behave?
Very good question. Leo Lagna?
Yep.
The priority is for Yoga Karaka. Therefore, he will be shining in service.
Yeah.
6th house may exalted.
Yes.
Therefore, if he joins services, he will be very good. Shining. Generally, okay. But where is Sun? No idea. That is the problem.
Yeah, I know. I can understand that what you're talking about.
And where is
for
Venus,
the Leo.
10th Lord? Where is Venus, 10th Lord?
Sun is in the 5th house.
Sun is in the 5th house.
When Mars is in Capricorn, service could be good, but it would have to be of some high nature, because when Mars is in Capricorn, its mind is on higher matters. No.
Ambitiousness will be there. Ambitiousness, then he will definitely do something.
It could be. Yeah.
Venus, where is Venus?
Yeah.
10th Lord is also required because Mars is aspecting the 12th bhava only, na, in its own sign from the 10th.
Okay, yeah.
10th shade, na. So we have to see so many aspects of it. And Mars will be aspecting Lagna also. If Leo Lagna is there. Therefore, as rightly pointed out, God, he will have a mind to climb up the ladder. The sooner, the better. I see. Thereby, he may go into some wrong method also sometimes. Not necessarily, it depends upon other planets. But because Mars is a malefic in the 6th bhava, in Capricorn sign, in exaltation, therefore he may think supreme.
Lovely, lovely. So now I would like to give opportunity to people to unmute themselves and they can also speak their questions. So I am seeing eager for the 2 people asking questions. So there is a thank you coming from the person who has asked this question. So Ajitji, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, and as well as YB Kumarji, I know you have requested for that, so you can unmute yourself as well. So Ajit, go ahead, please.
This is Ajit in California. I have a question for Shri Gordon. When you said that you consider Kujadosh from both D1 and D9, you made a comment that in D9 you have to look at it differently, or some words to that effect. Maybe I misunderstood.
I only meant that the D1 you look at a lot of general things, and D9 it's much more the inner quality of things. You can see certain matters you can see in D9, which Mars would be very good for, which they wouldn't have the same effect in the Rashi chart. It's just a different consideration because they're different charts. I didn't mean that there's some specific matter regarding relationships would not some particular matter, but D9 it would give you much clearer insight into the matter of relationships. But the D1 this would be a general effect. Yeah,
I understand. So basically, what I have learned is that if there is no Kujadosh in D1, and if it exists in D9, it is still Kujadosh, but it's not as strong as if it is first in D9 and also in D9.
Yes,
D1
I
and
agree
D9.
with that. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Subtle effects of Kuja is more pronounced in Navamsa. Therefore, one must be guarded against such evil effect that may be caused by Kuja in the relationship. That is the purpose of Navamsa Kuja Dosha. Whereas in D1, the physical phenomena comes. Understand?
Yes, so the husband and wife or husband and wife in D9, this is the first house and the 7th house very directly, much more so than in the Rashi chart.
I understand.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Right. Good. God bless.
There was a question from the Chintanji, and again, it's a very general question asking that if sun and the moon are together in Navamsha. So kind of how it behaves is what the question is. So Chintanji, if you are still around, you can unmute and explain more about the question which you're asking.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a general question, like because I read somewhere that there is Amasya Yoga or something like that, which actually forms if they are together in Namansha. But I just want to know the thoughts of our panel here.
Very much depends upon which house in Navamsa before you could answer.
For example, Sagittarius.
No, which house?
Oh, 4th house.
Right. You're in sun in 4th.
In the 4th house. In Navamsa. Okay. One thing in general, Are you taking care of your in-laws in your house?
No, this does not relate to me, but I'm
No,
just
no, I'm
asking.
not talking you. Please note one thing. I'm not talking you. When I say you raise the question easily, I'm just asking.
Okay.
I'm not saying attributing to you that when you say sun and moon in the fourth house of Dhanur Navamsa,
Mm-hmm.
the fourth house.
Yes.
That means it occupies the parents, sun and moon.
Correct.
General question is I'm asking.
Mm.
See, you put on the horoscope, you get all the answers what you all want. But sun and moon, generally, now it represents which are the lords which were there in Navamsa, I mean D1, which have come together.
Okay, I
It's
see.
not
Okay.
fourth lord and fifth lord. It's not fourth lord and fifth lord. Which Lagna was there, D1. You have to
Okay.
think about that to come for this. And Amavasya Yoga is all off the cuff matter. There is no recognition in Bhagat Parashar Ora about this kind of yoga.
Okay. Okay.
As far as my knowledge goes. No
But
Amavasya Yoga.
sun in fourth house is disturbing to the fourth house. With fourth house, you're looking for peaceful matters, comforts, happiness. Yeah, sun
It's
is
a
a bit
garden.
disturbing.
One second. No doubt about it. Sun in the fourth house, but sun in a friendly house. Belonging to Jupiter. Moon in the friendly house, it belongs to Jupiter. That is why positively, as an astrologer, let us put positively speaking,
Yeah, it could be.
Navamsa fourth house, belonging to wife. Therefore, father-in-law, mother-in-law should be there.
All right.
I will
Great.
give you the solution by which you can avoid all these crises which you are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
So if anybody has a last question, we will take it. Otherwise, we'd like to close the session now. It's getting quite late in India now. So if I do not see, we will go towards. So if not, as we talked about, and just the concluding point that whenever we are first learning the principles, which is a part of the whole conference, is to first learn the principle, apply it into the chart, and then ask more questions from the chart itself. So you get a full understanding of first applying that principle and then understanding more question. And then that is where whatever the confusion you have about the chart, you can always ask. So really looking forward to all of you in the conference. And as I can see, most of you have already been registered, either coming from the weekend or you are joining from full day you are going to be there. So I am seeing Dhananjay ji, Ratna ji, Charlotte. And also I would like to mention Charlotte Benson has attended the whole session live with us. So, I just don't wanted to pull her in, but she is live with us listening the whole session. And we have many people on the YouTube following us. So looking forward to both of your session in the Jyotish Mela, and welcome Gordon, for the first time you are speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see you in Ashtravidya and having tea and dinner with you.